Welcome back to the Ricky Matthews Show from the Citizens Bank Studio. It's Ocean Springs Day. It didn't really, we didn't plan it this way. It just the way the various guests fell on the calendar. And I really enjoyed that conversation with Mayor Bobby Cox. For those of you who weren't watching on Facebook or YouTube or on SuperTalk TV, you didn't see his face, but the whole time we're talking, he's got a great smile. You can feel his passion for the city. And, he's got a long history, as our next guest told me during the break, that of rolling up his sleeves. And you can definitely tell that. Let's shift gears now, move over to Stephen Glorioso, who's the Director of Parks and Recreations for the city of Ocean Springs. Stephen, how you doing, my friend?
Hey, good morning. How are you?
I'm actually surprised you haven't been on the show before. I remember when I started the show over 5 years ago, a couple of people asked me, once you run through the list of leaders, who are you going to talk to? I said, what do you mean? My time at the Sun Herald showed me that leadership happens in so many different ways and so many different levels. I mean, you've got people on the ground level that are leading by example and volunteer efforts. You've got mayors, you've got the governor, you got all these points in between. And the work that you're doing, Parks and Recreation, certainly, ranks up there with it. In fact, I have to say that Cynthia Sutton, who we talked about with the mayor just a few minutes ago, who I think is doing a fantastic job with the chamber and Main Street and the tourism welcome center there in Ocean Springs, speaks very highly of you. So you've got fans, Stephen.
She's amazing. What she does for our town, she's the face of our town. And Peter Anderson Festival, Cruise the Coast, it's amazing how she puts it on. It seems seamlessly how she does things. I'm very happy to help her during the festivals. My wife and I both volunteer for her. And like I told you during the break, she's my son's adopted aunt. There's nothing she won't do for my family or for Ocean Springs.
Yeah, I get that. I get that impression. I'll tell you a quick story. I was running through town. I can't remember why, but I had one of my grandchildren with me, and it was relatively early in the morning. And for whatever reason, I decided to kind of pull in. I always like to drive through Ocean Springs, but again, it was like on a Saturday or Sunday morning. It was quiet, virtually no cars in the town. And so as we started to pull into the city, I noticed over toward the Welcome Center where the chamber office is, I noticed Cynthia was there. And so we pulled over, and it was a cold day, I remember. It was supposed to get really cold that night. And she just had, run over there just to check on the cats, make sure they were going to be safe. And I said, what are you doing? And she explained it to me. And I thought, man, what a beautiful heart, someone just to go there for that purpose. I was really impressed. We sat and chatted for a few minutes, and then, we got back in our car and moved on. But, you find out a lot about people when all the headlines are gone and the spotlights are gone, and it's just them and their beloved city, and you just happen to trip over them. You find out a lot about someone's soul in moments like that. And I wasn't surprised at all, but it was still beautiful to see. Stephen, where do you come from? Yeah, you go ahead.
I'm from the heart of the
dog.
Yeah. The one thing you don't see about Bobby and Cynthia is what you don't see on TV. Them behind the scenes, them cleaning up after events. It's just the little things that I see Bobby do and I see Cynthia do. They don't want any credit for it. They just do it to make our city better. But to answer your question, I came from the Mississippi Delta, Cleveland, Mississippi. Grew up there. Went to Delta State University. Met my wife at Delta State in Cleveland. Been married for 24 years, had two beautiful children. If you ever saw my wife, she works at festivals. She'll be at the sock hop with Cynthia during Cruising the Coast, but you'll see I married way over my head.
Good for you. I feel that way about my wife, Ann. On Thursdays, this show goes into Jackson, the Mississippi Delta. It goes into Northeast Mississippi. In fact, I have a place up in the Mississippi Delta. I spend a lot of time there. I love to hunt and spend time in the outdoors with my grandkids and my kids and my closest friends. Last Thursday, in fact, Scott Coopwood was on my show. Do you know Scott from your time in Cleveland?
Yeah, he's a great guy. He started a newspaper in Cleveland. He's one of the guys in the Delta that everybody knows. He does a really good job with the paper in Cleveland.
And now he owns. Of course, he has. Let's see, the the Delta Business Journal. He has he bought recently the Mississippi Business Journal and has this big footprint across the entire state. Yeah, I agree with you, man. It's just great to see people like him. And I often say what's interesting is that the landscapes here on the coast and the Mississippi Delta could not be any more different. But what's in the heart and soul of the people? What's in the heart and the soul of the people is very similar, isn't it?
It is. One term I like to use is hospitality. Cleveland, there's nothing but hospitality. Friendly people will go out of their way to help you. And it's the same way on the coast. People will give you the shirt off their back to help you, whether it's Ocean Springs, Mississippi, or Cleveland. Just a person willing to lend a hand, friendly face, even if they don't know you. They'll just go out of their way, just give you just a random act of kindness. It's a pretty neat thing in both towns I've lived in.
I think another thing that drives that sense of community is that if you think about the Mississippi Delta, you think about droughts and floods and challenges of farmers and all that goes with that. They've had to learn to be resilient. They've had to learn to overcome difficult times and to find hope during that process. And coastal Mississippi, where there are hurricanes, especially Hurricane Katrina, we kind of are defined in that same similar way. So Mississippi's story is a lot about resilience. It's a lot about bouncing back from difficult times and helping each other. And when the going gets tough, how we set our politics aside and want to help our neighbor. That's a beautiful thing. So when you came down here 5 years ago, it probably wasn't hard at all for you to, other than just sort of learning the players and, getting a sense of how to get around. It was, what you saw in the people was not something you had to study too hard. You already were very familiar with that, weren't you?
Everybody made me feel welcome. It was, like I said, I've never lived anywhere but Cleveland, and moving down here, a little nervous, and just to see people, meet new people, didn't know how they would react to me being here. And everybody's just generally nice and kind. I can't say that enough. Cynthia was one of the first people I met. Sarah Q at the Mary C was another first person I met. The staff up here was genuine. And even the previous park director, Jerry Strait, came up here for 2 weeks and helped me get started up here. Just little things that people didn't have to do that I'll never forget when I first moved here.
Listen, when I talk to mayors across the coast of Mississippi, there's always a vast awareness of the importance of recreational activities, park initiatives, the community events that you work with Cindy on. They're all vastly aware of that. But that's a big deal in a place like Ocean Springs. The mayor and I talked a little bit about how people in Ocean Springs have this incredible, extraordinarily compelling case for our sense of place about Ocean Springs and the role that the recreational programs play in that. But you get that, don't you?
People are passionate about recreation, Ocean Springs. They want more. They want more. Skateboard parks, pickleball parks. Just recreation in general. People want it. I can tell you I've worked for 3 mayors since I've been here, and all of them the same. They've never really told me no. They just want a clear plan of what we want, and they're gonna make it happen. There's ideas that I have that I've listened, and whether it's Mayor Holloway or Mayor Cox or even Mayor Shea Dobson when he was here, they want it. They're like, go for it. It's a fun place to work. Luna, who's our toy from Pelican, I call it a toy. It was a loaner from Pelican Playgrounds from Alex Wilcox. It's used for after school program, and it's an interactive toy to where kids can use movement. They can play memory games. They can play math games. It gets them off an iPad and keeps them moving, and they work out that nervous energy they have from school. We're welcome to have it. We'll have it till October 1st, but it's been a welcome addition to Ocean Springs Parks and Rec.
Hey, in fact, what we'll do when we get back on the other side, we'll talk a little bit more about Luna Play and what it is. I mean, I've seen the pictures. I've never actually seen it in person, but it does seem like something that is what this generation needs these days. And I'm glad that the city is bringing that online. You've got other things that you're working on, but we'll talk about those on the other side of the break. But when you think about your job as the Parks and Recreation Director for the city, how do you, if you're just giving someone the elevator speech to 15 or 20 seconds, how do you tell them what you do?
Oh, wow. Well, at first it comes with the staff that works very hard, but it's just organizing play for adults through little kids. It's finding the things that we can fit into our town that people enjoy most and provide it for them. There's nothing off limits to what we can do in Ocean Springs. We just need, just when people bring us ideas, we try to make it happen. We don't want we don't want Ocean Springs to have any excuse not to get out and have fun.
And man, that is so much more important today than it's ever been before. I mean, we want families to find their quality time together. We want kids to find time off social media, and there's no better place to do that than underneath the oaks or underneath the moonlight or underneath the sun. It's a great opportunity. Ocean Springs is bringing it. When we come back on the other side, we'll continue our conversation with Stephen Glorioso. We'll see you after this. Welcome back to the Ricky Matthews Show from the Citizens Bank Studio. I hope you're really enjoying today's show, starting with Bobby Cox and now with Stephen Glorioso, who is the head of Parks and Recreation for the city of Ocean Springs. In fact, I've got to dive a little deeper into all the cities and bring Stephen's cohorts and these other communities to the table so we can chat about what that's all about. But Stephen, you mentioned the Luna play. And I've seen a picture of it, but if someone has not seen it, explain what it is.
It's a neat, and I call it a big toy. It's big as a basketball goal, big as a lane of a basketball court. Has numbers, lights, interactive play. It takes movement to play it. You can dance, you can jump around, play math games. Even it has a interactive where you can. It'll judge who has the best dance routine as you're playing on Luna. It's a welcome addition. It's on loan from Pelican Playground between Lori and Alex at Pelican Playgrounds, and it's like I said, it's fun. It's fun for the kids. It'll be fun if y'all came by and we played on it. Seniors can play on it, but it'll test your endurance. It'll test your memory. But it's a really neat thing to have for a few months.
Okay, so how do you play it? What's the if you're explaining to somebody who's never done it before, how do you play it?
There's 25 games on there. It's run by app on a computer. Has a little picture on the screen, and you just click it, and 25 games show up. And it has a big mat, 1 through 6. Up to 6 people can play on it, and you can go as easy as math game. 6 + 2 is 8, and jump on 8. Or you can play Simon Says. Simon Says go to number 2, and you go to 2. Or I'll say jump to 4. And then if you don't do what Simon Says, you're out of the game. But you could play it for hours and hours and just be completely just, sweaty. But like I said, I would invite anybody to come by my office and play it. I would love to play it with you so I can get out of the office and get out of my cubicle at my office and get some exercise.
I'll have to come by sometime. Listen, I think about my family is so darn competitive. I can't explain to you.
You and I as well.
My wife was most athletic in high school. She played basketball. In fact, I don't think anyone has ever beat her in horse. I mean, she rips the bottom out of the net. And we've been married over 30 years, buddy. And I mean, to tell you, I've never beat her in horse. Never. I mean, I just don't even play her anymore. It's such a frustrating process.
Tell her to come by to Coney Gym. Be glad to play her.
Okay. She may show you where you're coming from, but that's really good stuff. So Stephen, as you think about beyond the Luna play experience, which is there, you can remind people how long they have to play it. What are some other cool things you're looking at these days?
My dream goal for Ocean Springs Parks and Rec is to have an all-inclusive playground. We have a lot of things in Ocean Springs, and the one thing that I would love to bring to it is an all-inclusive playground. No excuse for nobody, regardless of what special need they have, or any communication that they get to play. Everybody in one spot. I've been a little outspoken about it, and it's a dream 5 years that we'll have this in Ocean Springs to have. That's my ultimate dream goal of here. I feel like it's the one thing that we really need. We have an after school program, so we see kids of all backgrounds, of all, it doesn't matter, and I want all those kids to be able to, their brothers or sisters, regardless of who, play on one playground in the city of Ocean Springs.
I think that's a great goal. I had the opportunity to work with Goodwill Industries of South Mississippi for a number of years. I was on the board for 10 years and chairman of the board for a couple of years. I had the opportunity to meet and be around some incredible people who had various disabilities and so on. And I gained just a deep appreciation for, something like what you just said, why that's important. And, I've really support you in that effort, and let me know what I can do to help you as you drive that goal forward. Everybody should have an opportunity to recreate in the city, shouldn't they?
I agree. Like I said, it's a lot of fun. I've even played in our adult basketball program. You get to meet people, people that I would not have met if I wouldn't have played. Just going to a playground, just sitting there and talking to people. Like I said, people are very kind. They're just looking for a conversation. But it is really fun. I came here knowing I didn't know anybody. I'll be honest with you. In the first month, met 5 or 10 people, and then now, wife and kids down here, we know a lot of people. Just having recreation opens up a lot of doors in Ocean Springs.
Well, I'm glad you're here. I hope your wife likes it here. I can tell your passion for the city, and we'll have you back. Let us know if there's something we need to know. You know how to get in touch with Cammie. Let her know if there's something great to talk about, and we'll give you an opportunity to share your passion for the city. Until then, it's been a pleasure to spend some time with you, Stephen.
It's been a pleasure, an honor and privilege to be on your show.
You bet. This has been Stephen Glorioso, the Director of Parks and Recreation for the City of Ocean Springs. Have a great day, and we'll see you tomorrow.
You too.